Hi there, it's Loretta. So I've been watching Myers-Briggs videos for like 3 days now. I used to be really, really into Myers-Briggs like forever. And it took me a long time to figure out my type, which I started off with like INTJ, because I am very, I don't know. I want to say I'm all about like production and efficiency, and that those things were like very important to me. But I ended up meeting INTJs, and I was just like, no, this is not me. Like, it's just not. And then I thought, well, maybe if I'm not that, like, I still feel like a T. Like, I feel like a thinker. I'm always, trying to logically deduce things. And so I went with INTP and then ended up meeting INTPs, and I was like, yep, no, I'm not really that. And so finally, I saw someone post something in the ISFP group where they were talking about like the perfumes that they like, and I was like, this sounds a little bit more close to home. So I ended up joining the ISFP group, and yeah, I did find a lot of similarities between myself and the other ISFPs. Now, I know there's like turbulent types and then the other type, but I'll share with you my feelings of, my type after turning to God. So, the whole thing with ISFPs is they're very much about aesthetics and art and music, and you'll notice a lot of musicians are categorized as ISFPs, like Beyonce, Rihanna, Michael Jackson, Justin Timberlake, all those people. Um, and so, we usually get that stereotype, and we're also told that we're very soft and cuddly and these kinds of things. And I've definitely met ISFPs like that that are more gentle than myself. I think there is, maybe I'm like a turbulent type or something like that. But I tell you what, like, my whole life has changed since I've turned to the Lord. I mean, one of those things about ISFPs is they're all about their clothing and their hair and their makeup, but I care about those things a whole lot less now than what I did before, and I promise you there is freedom in it. Like, it's really awesome. That doesn't make me less artistic. In fact, the Lord told me that I should pick up drawing when I stop drawing. And He told me I was a musician and that I need to get a harp. And He told me that He wants me to write music. And, these are things that I did as a child a little bit. I dabbled in it. I mean, I was always called an artist, so I kind of went with that direction. But then I was like, drawing art is rather boring, and everyone always compliments me on my art. So maybe I was looking for something more challenging. I'm not sure. And plus, I just don't like the idea that someone else can grade your art. Like, who are you to tell me about my art that I do, that I am a unique person that wants to do my art this way? So I kind of gave that up for a bit. It's kind of a silly thing, but the Lord told me to return to it, so I am. Because honestly, He made everyone with all these different giftings, and so instead of using those giftings to honor ourselves or to honor the world, we use it to honor Him. So what had happened was I almost did like this 360 where I couldn't really identify with most of the traits of an ISFP anymore, because I wasn't really into my hair anymore. I wasn't into makeup. Like, as you can see, I'm not wearing any makeup. Yes, I've got a pimple here, and I've probably got a few down here where it would have bothered me before being on video having pimples, but now I'm just like, you know what? If somebody wants to judge me because I have some blemishes on my face, and so be it. So, this is also one of the things that disappeared when I turned to the Lord. A lot of the times, ISFPs can get caught into people pleasing. Same thing with like ISFJs. A lot of F types in general can get caught into people pleasing. And so that was one of the things that went away. And I didn't feel like I was a slave to man anymore, especially not a slave to men. Because you'll see a lot of ISFPs in the music industry, even Britney Spears, ISFP, sings about, I'm a slave for you type deal. She's a slave to a man. That's basically what she's saying. And that's not a good thing to be. It's not a good thing to be a slave to man, female or male type deal. So a lot of what I was doing was trying to please men with my hair and with my makeup and with my clothing. I would go to the bar and my chesticles would be hanging out, and everything was to please a man. And every year at summer camp I had to have a crush, and wherever I showed up I had to have a man that was around me. And it was just like, it was so silly. And so, I'm going on maybe 3 years of maybe even longer, probably like 4 years, because I think that was 2015 or 2016, where that's the last time I was even really around a man all like that. Like, the men that I'm around, they're brothers in Christ. I don't think of them in that way. I'm sure they don't think of me in that way. And I'm not searching like I used to. So that's kind of one of the things that the Lord freed me from. And, all the other stuff it pertains to vanity. Me, me, me. What can I do to look good? What can I do to attract attention, to get a compliment, that kind of thing. And so I'm not really based on that anymore. There are times that I falter and I'm like, I need some attention. But then I have to check myself super quickly so I don't fall back into that cycle of seeking validation from people. So yeah, that's some of the stuff that the Lord has changed. Now I focus less on my flesh and more on my spirit, and also shyness. So I'm still kind of shy, but I used to get marks on my report card basically saying she's too shy and she needs to talk. I used to cross the street when I would see people approach me because I was fearful of our interaction. So the Lord gave me so much confidence, so much more confidence than what I had in myself, where I feel like a person of value, where before I didn't. So I'm able to, speak to people, and converse with them and not worry about what I'm saying and not worry about what they think about me. And it's just been a real blessing. And one of the things the Lord said to me was, you have a voice. And it's beautiful. It clicked. I have a voice and I am allowed to use it. And I never realized that before. I'm allowed to use my voice. I can raise it. I can lower it. I can state my opinions type deal. That was not the case before. I was around so many people that had really strong opinions, and I would just kind of be like, okay, whatever, which sometimes isn't a bad thing to do. But what I'm realizing is you can have an opinion and you can state it, and people can be in disagreement, and guess what? You can still be friends with each other. Isn't life great? It's wonderful. So that's one of the things that the Lord is teaching me lately, because I used to go on and on. It's like the Lord gave me a brain, and so I was able to put things together. But really what it is, it's when His Spirit is on you, when His Spirit is in you, you can speak forth truth and the word. And so He gave me that confidence to do that. But I used to go on and I would tear people down. And you wouldn't expect that out of ISFP, okay? This is a new lady that the Lord gave to me. So, yeah, and I would just get on people because I knew that they were wrong, and I knew what I was saying was right. But now I'm coming to the conclusion that it's okay, we can just agree to disagree type deal. So that's one of the things that the Lord has opened me up to. And yeah, just seeing people as humans as well. And that sounds like a T trait, doesn't it? Where it's almost like you perceive people as objects and not necessarily humans. Um, and I don't know if there's other ISFPs that have that going with them, where it's like they love people. Because I do love people. I would see people in some kind of situation and I would try my best to help them and to make sure that they are all right. But I still didn't realize that there was like a soul and a spirit inside of other people. It was really quite a weird thing. But it reminds me of the verse in the Bible where the guy is blind. I think he might be blind. I'm not sure. Maybe he's not blind. I mean, he's spiritually blind. But so what had happened was Yeshua had maybe put some spit on his eyes or something like that. And he asked him, "What do you see?" And he said, "I see people walking around. They look like trees." And so basically what he was trying to say is like, yes, this person is a tree. Like, you can cut it down. They can grow, you can water them, whatever you reap, whatever you sow, you reap type deal. And so it's like the Lord gave me eyes to see that, like, I'm not the only soul, I'm not the only spirit here. Like, he put a spirit and a soul in every single person that walks this earth. So that's another thing that the Lord has opened my eyes up to. And then naivety, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but I don't care because I used to care and I don't anymore. But yeah, so he opened my eyes up to that. I was very naive. Like, I would fall for things all the time, especially with men, because I had no idea how a good man was supposed to be because I didn't have a father in my life, and my brother was in and out of jail, so he couldn't be a good, role model. And then all the men I dated were something else. And so one of the things that happened when I turned to him was he showed me almost right away. It was like a switch went on what a decent man is versus a man that's just trying to use you type deal. And it was amazing. Like, I could see these men from like 5 miles away with all the stuff that they were trying. And I realized when I didn't realize before, I don't actually have to succumb to you. I don't have to be nice to you, really. I mean, I'm trying to be nice because I'm trying to be godly and that kind of thing. But if you come to me and you speak to me in a certain way in which is not uplifting and isn't edifying, then I don't have to be your friend. Where before I said, well, I feel bad, maybe I should do this. But no, we don't have to do that. We don't have to be around men or anyone else that's going to disrespect us. And we can still forgive them. And even family members. If you have family members that are disrespectful and rude and, they don't follow the ways of the Lord, even if it's your mother and your father, okay, you don't have to be around them. You can still love them from a distance. And so, all that guilt as far as not meeting people's standards was kind of left in the dust. So, that's something that I think a lot of ISFPs might struggle with, is just feeling like they have to meet certain standards of people when that's not the truth. So, but yeah, I want to speak a little bit about individuality, because this is one thing that confuses me. Because I'm like, well, maybe I am a little bit individualistic and that kind of thing. Personally, I don't fight for individuality. I think people are just unique in themselves. Like, the Lord has made every single person unique. And so, I mean, what can you say? What can you do? Like, we're just individuals, just naturally type deal. But maybe it's because we don't like groupthink, which might be true, but then I'm surrounded by people that think like me. And sometimes it's quite a nice thing to know that other people agree with what you're saying. And there is strength in numbers type deal. But make sure you have discernment with your strength in numbers, because just because a bunch of people are saying it doesn't necessarily make it true. So, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because I've been watching a lot of videos about ISFPs, and it's interesting. It's interesting seeing the contrast before God and after God, and how much happier I am now that I have God on my team. So, and I pray that for, all the ISFPs out there and all the other 15 types that are out there as well, that you would just find truth and peace with the Lord, and, whatever those things that are bringing you down and ailing you, I pray in the name Yehoshua, if you want to call him Jesus, Yeshua, Yehoshua, Yahweh, Yahusha, whatever, there's a lot of names for him. I just pray that those things just be cast down, because, being one type or the other doesn't make anyone better or more special. We all need God. We all need him, because he created us, and he created us not to be individuals necessarily, but to serve him and to love him and to honor him and to do the same thing with our brethren. And I think when we follow his ways, we'll find a lot more balance in our personalities. So I thank you guys so much for listening. You guys have a blessed day and stay awesome. Bye.